Hey folks, welcome back. So I think I've got everything I need to do except for tending to the birds and cleaning the wood stove out. So today I checked on my Jerusalem artichokes. We've spoken about that before. And the frost has hit them. They are not completely died back yet. It takes a good 2, 3, sometimes 4 weeks for the plant to die back, for all the nutrients and everything to go into these, which are buried in the ground. Now, this is the first time ever growing these that I found these. Well, the small ones were on top. They're fairly new tubers, young tubers, and the bigger, larger tubers were about a foot down and more, folks. Now, I think it's because it was so dry this summer that they just grew better where it was moist, more moist. I'm not sure. It's new to me. That would be my best guess, my best assumption. So these are growing in a raised bed down toward the bog. It was a ways from the bog, but the bog is so high now that it's not so far away from the bog. So as I was down there, the ducks are in the water, the chicken are under my feet, all of that. And I saw a duck eating something red. So I paid attention and found that they were eating cranberries that had ripened and the water came up. And that's how they harvest commercial cranberries anyway. They plant the plants, right, and then they flood it when the berries are ready. The berries will come away from the plant and float to the top, and then they gather it from the surface of the water, right? So that must have been what happened when we got all that rain. They broke free, and now they're making their way down through the bog. But as you can see, there's a lot of grass and a lot of swamp weed, marsh weed, meadow weed, I don't know what you call it. And so when they came up and broke free, what they're doing is they're catching on the grass out there and not flowing very freely, because these were stuck in amongst reeds of grass along the edge of the bog. So without getting wet, I was able to grab, 12 or 14 of them, and that's all I'm going to get this year, folks. So, but that's all right. That was a nice treat, nice surprise when I was after these, right? So, Jerusalem artichokes, once you have them, you have them. They aren't at the sweet stage yet because the plants haven't fully died back, but they have that nutty water chestnut crunch to them, and they look quite a lot like a water chestnut, ones you get in the can. But they are not, because, like I said, once the plant dies back, these tubers will get really, really, really sweet. And you can eat them raw, which is how I prefer it. You can peel them, you can slice them, and you can fry them, you can boil them, you can boil them and mash them. But they do turn translucent, like a cooked onion. They have that translucent to them. So they're not going to be white. So this is a small tuber, a newer tuber. This was probably this size last year, all right? So they're pretty plentiful. I was pulling them up by the stalk, and after all that rain, they just pulled up very easily. And again, the deeper I went, the more I found. So anyway, like always, I dig some up and I give them to a handful to people every year in the area. One of my co-workers, I told her I'd bring her in some. And then the rest I will transplant here, there, and everywhere outside of the yard so they can establish their own little whatever. I have different plots here and there. I'm just allowing to spread, right? Because it is a good potato substitute, and it doesn't turn to sugar, okay? It's a carb, but it does not turn to sugar, okay? So I have got to go in. I've got to clean my stove. I've got ducks at my feet, baby ducks, and they probably want to be fed, even though they've had several treats today, and they had more than enough food this morning because I spilled it, folks. But they want some loving, and they want a little bit of food before they go to bed. So I'm gonna head out, and y'all have a good night and be safe. All right, Jerusalem artichokes. Thank you.